Mongonani Mwalelepo Vukenjani Kleklas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You're joined by Ashwin Mberi as it is Heroes Day in Namibia as we celebrate several generations of heroes in Namibia, those who brought the country liberation and freedom, the folks in business, the folks who work in the health ministry, the everyday people that make our lives easier. We thank you and we are truly grateful for your heroic acts on a day-to-day basis. Now, these are some of the top stories we are looking at today. Famine hits Sudan as peace talks fall short yet again. Malawi begins screening for mpox, and this is at all points of entry. And Tunisian president shuffles a cabinet ahead of the presidential vote, which is in October. We're also going to be talking to talent Gore as she brings us the latest news from Zimbabwe, and Ari Hohad will bring us the sports. This is Africa Good Morning. Top stories after the break.
Entries are now open for the second round of Republicane's Bridal Couple of the Year competition. Couples married between 1 June and 31 August have until 30 September of this year to enter the second round of the competition. Another one of the top 10 couples will be chosen from this pool to participate in the final taking place in May 2025. To better your chance of reaching the final, enter now. To enter, simply WhatsApp #bridal2025 to 085 785 6231 and follow the on-screen instructions or scan this QR code.
We start our top stories in South Africa. Economic freedom fighter leader Julius Malema initially agreed to join the government of national unity, but later changed his mind because he feared being toppled as president of the party at the upcoming December elective conference. The Red Berets have been rattled by resignations of Deputy President Floyd Shivambu and Mzwanele Manyi, with speculation that others might follow. Last week, the EFF rubbished claims that Mbuyiseni Dlozo had also resigned from the party. According to insiders, Malema's vetoing of the GNU, negotiated by his lieutenants, was based on his fears that they would use their prominence and access to resources to mount a challenge against him, as his name did not feature in the ANC's proposal to the EFF. Malema's paranoia cost the EFF 4 ministries and 5 deputy ministries, according to the City Press. In terms of the deal negotiated by the EFF's team, Shivambu would get the deputy finance minister's position, while Dlozi will become the Minister of Higher Education. Now, famine is ravaging Sudan. The Sudanese armed forces, which claims to be the government of Sudan, took a small step towards alleviating that famine earlier by allowing 15 UN aid lorries to cross the border from Chad to bring food to the starving. Aid agencies hope that it opens the door to a full-scale relief effort that can save millions of lives, but they fear it is just a symbolic concession, too little and too late. 4 weeks ago, the UN-accredited Integrated Food Security Phase Classification System said that famine conditions existed in parts of Darfur, Sudan's westernmost region. This was no surprise. Sudan's humanitarian catastrophe has been the largest in the world for many months. More than half of Sudan's 45 million people need urgent relief aid. More than 12 million are displaced. Now, Malawi has begun screening for mpox at all points of entry, and this is in a bid to prevent the spread of the virus. The move comes just days after the first 2 suspected cases were registered in the country and are currently awaiting laboratory results. This includes a 31-year-old male who is being treated in hospital and a 17-year-old boy who is receiving care at home. The Democratic Republic of Congo is the epicenter of a more deadly strain of the virus that emerged last year and has subsequently spread to more than 10 African states. Just over a week ago, the World Health Organization declared the spread of the new strain of mpox a public health emergency of international concern. Africa's top public health agency said some countries on the continent could start vaccinating against mpox in just a few days. Now, Tunisian President Kais Saied announced yesterday a broad cabinet shuffle of 19 ministers that included those for defense, foreign affairs and economy. This is ahead of the presidential election on the 6th of October. The presidency said in a statement that Khaled Shili would be the new defense minister and Mohamed Ali Nafti the foreign affairs minister. Saied earlier this month sacked Prime Minister Ahmed Hahani, replacing him with Kamel Madouri, the social affairs minister. The ministers of finance, justice and interior kept their positions. The cabinet reshuffle comes amid the financial crisis and widespread discontent over recurring water and electricity outages in many parts of the country and a shortage of some goods and medicines, in a move likely aimed at injecting new blood and attracting voters. Now, an armed group linked to Al-Qaeda, Jamaat Nusrat al-Islam wa Muslim, has claimed responsibility for what it says was an attack that killed up to 200 people and injured at least 140 in central Burkina Faso. The attack took place on Saturday in the region of Basaloho, about 40 kilometers north of the strategic town of Kaya, which analysts said is home to the last standing force protecting the capital, Ouagadougou. Fighters opened fire on teams of people digging trenches designed to protect security outposts. Several soldiers were missing after the attack, and attackers took weapons and a military ambulance. Reporting from Dakar, Senegal, Al Jazeera's Nicholas Hake said JNIM posted gruesome videos of the aftermath of the attack. All right, after the break, we talk about how Zimbabwe plans to address the mpox situation, which is currently ravaging the Democratic Republic of Congo and spreading across Africa. Stay with Africa. Good morning.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
It's time for us to talk to Talent Gore. She brings us the news stories from Zimbabwe. Talent, Wamkase.
Africa.
All right, now in your first story, government is upping surveillance at 3 border posts. This is with regards to mpox.
Yes, the Zimbabwean government has heightened surveillance for mpox at 3 major ports of entry bordering Zambia, South Africa and Mozambique, with health authorities closely monitoring travelers for fever and rashes, which are 2 main indicators of the disease. The Ministry of Health and Childcare said that it is currently updating its mpox preparedness and response plan in collaboration with the World Health Organization and other partners. Healthcare workers are also undergoing training on disease recognition and management, while the government laboratories are being equipped with the necessary reagents to diagnose the infection. As of now, Zimbabwe has not recorded a single case of mpox, but right now they're just preparing just in case we do have a case. The government also said that, in particular, the Minister of Health and Childcare also said that we managed to contain COVID-19, so we're going to be using the same system that we used during the COVID-19 era. So we're going to be using the same system to take care of mpox if we do have a case of mpox.
Sorry, I was just taking that in over there because, once you mention COVID-19, it brings forth a lot of harrowing memories. And I do hope that Zimbabwe can be able to contain mpox should it show up. Now, Zimbabweans are suing South African authorities over harassment.
Yes, Zimbabwean immigrants in South Africa have quoted human rights organizations to assist them in the fight against harassment by the neighboring country's authority and citizens following the intensification of a crackdown on foreigners. The South African police and general citizens have launched raids on foreigners since the formation of the GNU. So, in a letter to Helen Suzman Foundation, dated 17 August, a Zimbabwean national by the name Colin Makumbirofa expressed deep concern over the recent operation launched by South Africa and said that the operation was causing immense suffering and hardship for many poor and vulnerable individuals, whilst also enriching corrupt police officers. The Zimbabweans are not quite, they don't care if they are illegal in South Africa. All they care about is how the South Africans and the government are targeting undocumented individuals in the country. They're saying that it's inhumane, and they have quoted human rights activists to ensure that their needs and to ensure that their human rights are well taken care of. So right now, that is all on that issue. But apparently, Colin said that those arrested without passports are paying exorbitant bribes to the police of between 1,500 to 3,000 rands. In Tembisa, they are paying 1,500, whilst in Johannesburg, they are paying 3,000 rands. So they're saying that the police are actually taking bribes. Those are the allegations that they are leveling against the South African government, in particular the police. They're saying that they're demanding bribes for them not to be deported back to Zimbabwe, or for them not to be arrested. So they have written a letter to human rights activists, to Human Rights Foundation, to ensure that their concerns are heard of.
All right. Thank you very much, Talent, for bringing the news stories as they are from Zimbabwe.
You're welcome, and thank you very much for having me.
It's always good having you on Africa. Good morning. Let's have a look at the weather report before we return with economic news.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
We start our economic news stories in Namibia, where Vice President Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, during the official opening of the Ogediva Annual Trade Fair on Saturday, said Namibian business people should familiarize themselves with the African Continental Free Trade Area, of which Namibia is part of that, so that the investment government made does not go to waste. Now, Namibian Sun Northern journalist Tuyemo Haidula reports.
Ministry of Industrialization and Trade provided the technical support, while the Ministry of International Relations and Cooperation provided the diplomatic support in this negotiation. And we can tell you here that we have really made our input. It is therefore now up to the Namibian business people not to allow our investment to go in vain. And that's why we are calling you to educate yourself, familiarize yourself with the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, so that Namibia can reap the investment that we have put in this. It's not only that we spend money for traveling, but a lot of energy. When you are sleeping on those negotiation rooms, it's not an easy task. And we want value to be gained by the Namibian people from all those efforts.
Staying with economic news, the recent gazetting of the Gambia's 2024 draft constitution has sparked widespread concerns as well as criticism from civil society as well as concerned citizens. The controversy surrounds the executive's decision to make unilateral changes to the draft, deviating from the consultative approach adopted by the Constitutional Review Commission. With the removal of key provisions and a lack of transparency in the process, questions are being raised about the integrity and public trust in the new draft. Yusuf Taylor, a journalist and activist, highlighted concerns, stating the Minister for Justice initially promised on 25 May 2024 that the draft constitution would be gazetted by mid-June this year, but that never happened. It was only last week that the draft was finally gazetted, triggering widespread comparisons with previous versions. He added, the process chosen by the executive to promulgate this draft was not consultative at all. Let's have a look at the economic indicators before Ari joins us for the sport. So Arsenal did what it had to do, registering a victory away at Aston Villa. Liverpool did what it had to do, registering a 2-0 victory against Brentford. Even Chelsea did what it had to do, registering a 6-2 whopping of Wolves. But Manchester United, still suffering, still in the trenches. How are you, Ari? How's it going?
Yes, very good morning, Ashwin. Yes, indeed. It's always interesting English Premier League. It's only weekend two. There's 38 or 36 of them still to go. 38 weekends of international English football. Early signs is that Manchester City again being very competitive, and also that Arsenal that was extremely competitive, almost won it last year, again going to be there. So I think there's three impressive wins for me over the weekend. Let's start there with Arsenal. I like them playing in the black. They make a big statement there. And it was Arsenal that had a great win away from home at Aston Villa. Not easy to do. They won 2-0. The other good result, as you mentioned, that was, for one, it was very good. For the other one, not so good. It's Brighton. They had a home win against Manchester United. Much fancied Manchester United, but still, it is not a good season there. Casemiro there on the left, not very happy. So it's early for them to fall behind. Maybe they can still come back, but losing points early is not good. Seeing that the others have wins that they record. The other one you mentioned that was quite impressive, Chelsea winning away from home at Wolverhampton, 6-2, scoring 6 goals away from home. That's a big achievement. And then some of the other results is Tottenham Hotspur beating Everton, that's struggling at the moment, 4-0. That was at home. And then Liverpool that beat Brentford, as you mentioned, by 2-0. That was Arne Slot. He's the new coach at Liverpool, his first game at Anfield. So interesting coming up this coming Sunday. One to look out for, the 1st of September. It is Manchester United hosting Liverpool. So that will be a massive game for Manchester United. Need to win that one early, even it's just the third weekend of the English Premier League. Let's go on to some golf news. It was a big one. It was a British Open played at the legendary St Andrews Golf Course in Scotland. And it was Lydia Ko of New Zealand that won. And it's Lydia Ko that also won the Olympic Games in Paris. So back-to-back wins for her in very big tournaments. It's impressive for her. She won 2 majors before. This is her third one. And the second one she won 8 years ago. So although she's number 2 in the world at the moment, probably go to number 1. But Lydia Ko of New Zealand winning. Tight finish in the end. It was Nelly Korda, the world number 1, was 2 shots behind on 5 under par. Lydia Ko finishing on 7 under par. And Jinjing Shin of South Korea and Ryung Yin of China also on 5 under par. Good result for South African Cassandra Alexandra. She was tied 7th. A great performance being in the top 10. She was -2 after the 4 rounds. Just briefly also Formula One, and it is, I remember the previous Formula One season, I used to say every Monday, it's again Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen. It's not like that anymore. It's McLaren challenging big time, also Ferrari. It was Lando Norris that won the Dutch Grand Prix. He won it in the backyard of Max Verstappen. So it's McLaren winning, Max Verstappen in his Red Bull Honda second, and it was Lando Norris that was 22 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen. So impressive racing of him. He lost the lead on the start, but got it back in the 18th lap. And in third position was Charles Leclerc in his Ferrari. Then also just to close off, it was played late last night, Namibian time, early mornings. It was South Africa playing in the West Indies T20 series. They lost the second game, South Africa. That's Tristan Stubbs trying his best there. But West Indies winning the second T20 by 30 runs, winning the series then. The third and final game will be played tomorrow. West Indies making 179 for 6. South Africa in a good position at one stage, 129 for 3 with 6 overs to go. Seems a little bit like the World Cup final, that one. Again, losing lots of wickets in the end. Lost the 7 wickets for 30 runs in the end, losing by 30 runs. So West Indies 2-0 up in that series, winning the series, the last one tomorrow. That's all the international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport week and sport day. And Ashwin, we can at least say we're going into the week on a winning way.
Thank you very much, Ari. Thank you very much. Let's take a quick break before we return with your highlights.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Thank you for staying with Africa. Good morning. These are the highlights from this morning's broadcast. Malema's fears of being toppled as leader left EFF out of the GNU. Famine hits Sudan as peace talks fall short yet again. Malawi begins screening for mpox at all points of entry. And up to 200 people were killed in attack in central Burkina Faso. Public outcry mounts over new draft constitution in the Gambia. Those have been our stories on Africa Good Morning, and in Namibia would like to wish you a happy Heroes Day. DSTV 285, Gore TV 25, 1up2.com is precisely where you can find us throughout the week. That's 1up2.com, DSTV 285, Gore TV 25. From me, Ashwin Betty, Sweda Jakanaka.